Hi everybody and welcome to Unwind Design Creative Studio. Today we're going to be making a really cute painting. We're going to be using our napkin, our primary colors, and our water. Our water is our magic ingredient to soften up this super sticky paint. We want to make sure it's nice and creamy instead of looking like toothpaste. We're going to be adding this water to soften it up, and we're going to be using these 4 brushes for that. We're going to start off first with our large background brush. Next, we're going to start off with our square brush, then with our round tip brush, and our detail brush. To begin our painting, we're going to be starting off first with our round tip brush. We're going to use this brush as a liner to give us sort of more of a perspective of what this painting is going to look like. So we're going to start off with our round tip, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to the side of my yellow. And I'm going to begin to pull that into the water and begin to mix. The reason we add this water and mix it on the side instead of in the middle is so that I have some more of that yellow in the future in case I want to use it. We want to go in nice and soft, making sure that our paint is ready to use. If you need to get more water, get some more. And let's start to mix this. Now we're going to use this yellow just to create the outline of where everything's going to be. And we're going to start off first with a nice large oval. And this is half of my canvas, and I'm staying a little bit beneath that. And we're going to make an oval. Next, we're going to get some of this yellow, and we're going to make an oval, but instead of being horizontal, we're going to make it vertically. And we're going to go up, and we're going to go around. So awesome. For this next section, we're going to come in with our round tip brush, and we're going to begin to add some colors to these pumpkins. I'm going to pick up that round tip brush, and I'm going to begin to add some blue to this pumpkin. It's going to be nice and dark. And we're going in painting the sides first. And we're going to start to paint in, going towards from left to right. From here, I'm going to begin to make a line going straight down. So again, we're curving like the letter C until we get to the middle, and then we're going to make a straight line. After that straight line, we're going to get some more of that water and that blue, and we're going to start to go towards the right. And now we're going to do the same as we did on the left, but on the opposite side towards the right. And we're going to go up and down. If you run out of paint, come back and get a little bit of water. Again, mix it on the side so that you have more blue for later. And we're going to start to curve until we reach that yellow line that we placed at the edge. Next, with that same brush, I'm going to pull out a little bit of white, and I'm not going to add too much water to that because my blue is already wet. So what I'm going to do is with the stickier white, I'm going to start to define the spaces by adding a little bit of that white and just scratching it. Again, we're pressing, scratching, pressing, and scratching. And I'm just going to go from the top, and I'm going to start to add those lines the same way that we painted it in. I'm going to go from the top down and then from the bottom up. And there we go. I'm going to add a little bit more white from the bottom up and from the top down. Then we're going to go straight down and straight up. And then we're going to start to curve to the other side. From the bottom up, from the top down, until we fill all this in with those lines. And this is what's going to start to give our pumpkin some texture, some depth. And there we go. Can add a little bit more white. Want to make sure that this pumpkin looks very, very light. We don't want it to be a very dark blue. Next, we're going to get our square brush, and we're going to get this yellow again. And this time we're going to add a little bit of red to it. And by it, I mean my brush. We're going to dip the corner of my red brush, and I'm going to pick up this yellow. With this brush, I'm going to begin to fill in this pumpkin. I'm starting off with the edges and going around the blue pumpkin with that orange to make sure I can frame it before I begin to fill it in, just so that I don't go into the blue pumpkin. So we're going to get some of that orange, and we're going to begin to fill this in. Yellow, a little bit of red. We're going to be going up and down. A little bit of that yellow and a little bit of that red. Some sections can be a little lighter. If you want them lighter, just add a little bit more of that yellow. You don't have to mix your paints on your palette. You can mix your paints on your canvas as well. Next, from here, we're going to go back to our round tip brush. From here, we're going to create a green. And how do you make green? We're going to start picking up some of this blue and mixing it with our yellow. I first want to start with my yellow though, because it's easier to make a color the way you want it if you start off with the lightest color first. So I'm going to pick up this yellow and pick up a little bit of that blue I mentioned, and I'm going to mix that in. I do want to make this a little bit more of an olive green or a darker green. So to this green, I'm going to add a tiny little drop of black. And that's going to bring my green down a notch so it's not so vibrant and bright. And see that? Now we have an olive green. Nice dark olive green. So from here, we're going to use this green to make some of our leaves. And we're going to start by making a curve S line right on top of this pumpkin on our right. So we're going to make almost like an S. And then we're going to copy that line and come down and fill that in. From there, we're going to bring another curve and we're going to paint that into almost like a little corner of a moon. There's one section. And then the right, let's just fill that in completely. You can also make another little section. Look at that. We have one leaf there. Right next to it, we're going to make another little curve. And from there, we're going to S-curve it down as well. And I'm going to fill that in with some green also. You can come in and create a little spiky section. There's one, almost like a little piece of a moon. Here's another one, and we're going to bring it down. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. We're going to make one, bring it down, another little space and bring it down. And we're going to begin to fill that in. Next, with some of that green, we're going to add a leaf at the bottom on the blue pumpkin. From here, I'm going to go right off of the corner, and I'm just going to curve an S line. From that S line, I'm going to come in and close that in. And we're also going to begin to do another peak up there. Bring that down. And another peak going the opposite way right next to it. Again, your paintings don't have to be exactly like mine. If yours are a little bit different, that's okay. Remember, everybody has their own style. And we're going to come in with that green. And we're going to fill all of that in. You might even want to retouch your painting a little bit and go over some of the other leaves. Okay, so I'm going to come in, add a little bit more of this darker green. Maybe you want to add a couple of highlights. You can come in and just scoop in some of this yellow and add it on top of the green and blend it in a little bit. And look at how we start to get all these really pretty colors coming out, all these varieties of green. Scraping that yellow in, mixing, getting it nice and mixed. There we go. Some more of that yellow. And I'm going to add a little bit more to these as well. Don't be scared to pick up a nice amount of that yellow. Your tools are there for you to use them. Don't be scared to pick it up. Don't be scared that you're going to mess it up. Okay. From here, the next color we're going to use is going to be some blue. Okay. So we're going to pick up our square brush if you have enough space. If not, you can use your round tip brush. But I'm going to pick up my square brush and I'm going to get this blue. And I'm going to start to add that blue around the sides. I'm just making a bunch of lines in different directions to fill out this space. Okay, so I'm adding a bunch of lines to fill up every single gap that we have on there. And if I move it this way, it might look a little shimmery, but honestly, the shimmer is just the light hitting it because it's still wet. So we're going to come in with this blue and we're going to start to blend that in on the edges. And as we go more towards the right, we're going to begin to start to mix in more of a darker blue. Okay, how do we make a darker blue? We're going to add a tiny little bit of black to that blue. And we're just, again, being a little bit simple with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, we just want to kind of go around filling in any little spots that maybe we left empty. And I'm going to add a little drop of this black. And I'm going to mix it in with that blue till I get a navy blue. This navy blue, we're going to begin to add it. And I'm going to add a little bit on that lighter blue as well with that dark blue. And then that way it transitions from a light blue or a regular blue to a darker blue. See that? So as we go closer to our leaves, we want to use our brush to kind of just outline the edges of these leaves. And again, we're going to add this dark blue and we're going to start outlining these edges. Same thing over here. We're going to go around. There we go. And we're going to start to fill in the background all around this pumpkin. So I'm coming in with that dark blue again, and I'm just making rough lines. Let me get a little bit more of this water, and I'm going to mix some more. Adding some black in with that blue, getting a beautiful navy color. From here, again, if you maybe want to add more highlight, maybe you feel like you erased a little bit of these leaves, come back with some more of that yellow and just add some highlight over the top. Blue automatically mixed with yellow is going to give you green. So all you got to do is just add a little bit of yellow over the top, and it's going to blend with that blue and give you that highlight color and make your green pop out again. We're going to end up getting that olive green. Because again, green mixed with a little bit of black, which is what we have here, is going to give you that olive green. And there we go. The next step is going to be to come in and draw these pumpkins. So what I like to do is I like to work my way back and forth from the background to the foreground so that we can give this some time to dry while we're working on this section. Okay, so for this section, I'm going to pick up my detail brush. The first color we're going to begin to play with is going to be a dark red. So I'm going to get a little bit of this black and I'm going to begin to mix it with my red. And it's giving me a really nice burgundy color. Okay, you can make it a little bit more on the red end, or you can even add a little bit of yellow to make it look a little bit more like a dark orange instead. There we go. I added a little bit of yellow. Looks great. From here, we're going to start off shaping our pumpkin. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to make a line coming down towards my left. Then I'm going to get another line, and I'm going to start to curve it towards my right. So real quick tip, if you guys notice how I hold my brush, I like to hold it with my index finger and my thumb. And then I like to mount it in the bottom with my middle finger so that it doesn't move anywhere. And I'm really close to the tip so I can have more control of my brush. So that's just a quick tip. And I'm going to curve top and bottom. You can use this outline to go around your pumpkin a little bit too. Next, I'm going to add another little line. And then finally at the edge, a last line. And I'm going to do the same on the right. So I'm going to make a line towards the right and the second line. And there we go. You can add a couple of lines very lightly, don't press too hard. Let the rest of the paint in your brush finish up while you're making these lines. With that same brush, you can get a little bit of the yellow and even add some yellow to make some yellow lines. So you have a little bit of everything. A little bit of yellow lines. And a little bit of these darker orange lines. And there we go. Yellow lines right in the middle. And we got a nice little colorful pumpkin. Next, for our blue pumpkin, we're going to be using these dark blue lines that we used over here, that same color. So I have some left over. If you used all of yours, remember the way we make this color is going to be blue with a little bit of black. From there, we're going to make an almond shape. We're going to make a line on the right. And then finally, the last line on the right. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. We're going to add that line. And then finally, the line on the outside. For some highlights here, I'm going to wash off my brush and I'm going to add a little bit of white. Just like we added the orange, yellow, and that dark red here, we're also going to add a little bit of these white lines. Copying the movement. If we're going towards the left, our lines are going towards the left. If we're going towards the right, our lines are going towards the right. If our lines are in the middle, they're going up and down. Remember to curve these lines. These are not straight lines. They are curving. We're also going to add a couple of these lines in our leaves. I'm going to add some lines in the middle of each of those spikes or peaks. I'm going to outline the outside just a little bit so it stands out against the blue. So you can outline all of the outside. Also, it doesn't have to be a straight line. You don't have to outline the whole thing. Just pick sections where you can do some outlining. Like, man, I'm only going to outline a little bit. I'm not going to outline a lot. Just put some lines here and there to give your painting some movement. Same thing here. We're just kind of creating the outline and the shape of this. Love that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create some stems coming out. So I'm going to make a couple of lines with my white and I'm going to create some swirlies. There's a swirly. I'm going to make another swirly there. And I'm going to start to add all these swirls out around my pumpkin. Okay, so it could be some swirls. It doesn't have to look perfect. It's just random little lines. And we're going to be painting this all around our pumpkins. Some are going to be little curves. Some are just going to be a bunch of swirls that don't stop. I want it to look a little messy around. That looks beautiful. Right underneath, we're just going to curve also and add a couple of those lines. We can also add a couple of little leaves there too, like right here on top. I'm going to make a little leaf. There's one. There's another. Looks like little footballs. Okay, here's another leaf. And we're doing all of these in white. Next, with your round tip brush, we're going to begin to make some flowers. We're going to pick up some of this white and we're going to start doing some flowers over here. So the way you do these flowers, let me show you, is we start off by pressing our round tip brush, which is our green brush. Again, get a little bit of that water. And we're going to press one side down. Then we're going to go to the other side, do another side from the outside to the center, from the left. Then we're going to go from the bottom up, again from the bottom up, but the right, and then from the right to the left. And there you go. We got our little flower. You can make the flowers different sizes if you want to make a small one. You can make nice and really pretty big ones. It is completely up to you. And we're just going to go around placing these flowers around our canvas, anywhere you want to put them. They don't have to be exactly where I have mine. Okay, if you want to put them somewhere else, you can. And we're just going to add these all around. So again, we're going all around with this brush, making these lines, making these flowers. And from here, we're going to get a little bit of this black And we're going to add the black right in the middle of these flowers. There we go. The final thing we're going to add here is going to be the stem. So the stem here, we're going to kind of have it coming out of the flower. And we're just going to make a nice big line on top. And it's going to be kind of like a crooked line. And then we're going to swirl and go down. That's a weird looking stem, but I think it looks kind of cool. Next over here, we're going to do another one. We're going to go up and make a triangle for that stem. And then from there, we're going to curve it. And same thing, we're going to go down. And those are really cool stems. I don't know about you guys, but I love these. Next, we're going to get our detail brush with a little bit of this white. And we're going to start to add some highlights on that block. And there we go. We have some of those highlights right there. Perfect. From here, the last thing to do is going to be for you to grab the color of your choice. I'm going to get some of that blue with the burgundy so it turns into a purple. And I'm going to put my signature down at the bottom. And there you go. After that, you're done. So thank you guys so much for painting with me. This is such a beautiful painting, really nice autumnal painting. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this as much as I did, and I look forward to painting with you guys next time. Bye.